Coach, it's Sean's birthday too.
Oh, Sean's birthday. I know y'all don't know Sean like you know Foxy, but this is Sean.
Vote for Sean.
Yeah, vote for Sean too. But third, don't waste your energy vote for Sean and not having enough to vote for Domas and Foxy now.
How I guess interesting with the film session would you call today?
It was good. I enjoyed it because you know I had a hard time not telling the truth, and you know I think the guys after watching it, you know, I think that they really, again, I'm not discounting anything that Steve Clifford, great coach and a great human being, good friend of mine, and his team did, and they haven't been whole most of the year, so they got all their pieces and they're better than what their record says, so give them credit. But we didn't do what we were supposed to do to give ourselves a chance to win the game. And, you know, I've had many people in this short amount of time say, well, if y'all would have made free throws, y'all would have won the game. No. If we would have made free throws, we would have stolen the game. There's a big difference because we didn't deserve to win after watching that, especially after watching the film. And I think our guys realized it after showing them the film.
When it comes to all those offensive rebounds, is that just a matter of locking in and making sure you're putting the body on someone, or what do you see? What do you see with those?
A lot of it has to do with that, and hopefully, if you asked our guys, hopefully they said that because we did not box out when we had an opportunity to, and it cost us. Or that's A, and then the next thing is, a lot of times, if this is the charge circle right here, it's natural for everybody to think that they got to get closer to the basket to rebound. Well, if I'm 6'3" or 6'5", and I'd step inside that charge circle, and I think I'm going to get a rebound, especially if a team's shooting the three, first of all, the ball's going to bounce over my head, and people behind me around the free throw line are going to get it. Secondly, if I'm that big, or even if I'm Domas' size, you got a guy like Richards, extremely athletic, a powerful rebounder. He's going to get in your lower back, and it's not even going to be a push. It's just going to be a nudge, which is enough for him to go get it and dunk on top of you. So those two areas of us getting too deep to rebound, when we need to turn, check, and go to a body, and then just boxing out in general are what we have to do better in.
Mike, you had, I think Domas had 23 rebounds. How do you guys figure out what to do when he's not on the court? Because that seems to be one of the biggest problems you guys have is the second he steps off the court, you guys kind of fall apart a little bit.
Yeah, you know, and you know, Domas has been great, and it's a shame we didn't play the right way, so I could have really talked about, you know, the numbers that he got last night, but, you know, it is what it is. He was part of that behind kicking that we got, you know, so when he was on the floor, he wasn't always great, but I am searching, and that's why I gave Nimi an opportunity, you know, and guys just have to stay ready. And when we get somebody that we feel like can give us consistent minutes in that spot, we'll roll with them until we think that that spot's not producing. But I know for sure I can't have that spot not bring energy because it's not a ton of minutes. I know for sure that spot cannot not rebound. I know for sure that spot cannot foul 2-3 fouls in a matter of 6 minutes or three, you know, it's 2-3 minute stints. Can't pick up quick fouls to get teams in the bonus at the beginning of the quarter or at the end of the quarter when that person's out there sometimes to allow them to shoot free throws because we're already in a bonus. And then I know I can't have to worry about double teaming a backup center if that's who they guard. You know, so.
And how do you deal with the guys that you're putting in that position? You know, Mezzi is a guy who can defend the perimeter a little bit. You got a strong pick and roll guy in Rashawn. And then you've got Nimi, who's just like a house. Like, do you have three very different types of guys?
Yeah, and you know, you just have to get a feel for each one and see who's going to hold on to it. Most importantly, by how hard they're playing every single second they're out on the floor. Because again, you know, there's not a lot of minutes there, you know, and it's not like I'm going to play that person with Domas. So that person is literally going out there for 6 minutes. Now, if we're playing good as a team, I'm going to let that person roll. But you got to be locked in, and you got to be competing your tail off for that short amount of time that you're out there. And that's what I'm looking for first, and then those other things, second.
You had been worried about, you're concerned about the backdoor defense for you guys.
Yeah.
Was that characteristic you saw coming into last night's game, or was that kind of more of a one-off? I know Malik kind of thought it might have been a little bit trickled in from other games.
Yeah, but we've been pretty good with it. We started out the season not good. And, we getting beat backdoor quite a bit. Last night it resurfaced a little bit. That wasn't the biggest issue. I thought the biggest issue was one of the biggest issues was our rebounding. The next issue was our low man. We were not good when it came to keeping these guys out of the paint, whether it's in a pick and roll situation or just driving the basketball. And we've been fairly good in that as of late. But last night, just the physicality wasn't there. And we were late a lot of times getting there to make that paint seem crowded when a big roll to the rim. Like we did it twice. All last night, we did it twice that was perfect. And one time resulted in Foxy taking a charge. And another time Malik was there and Richards had to kick the ball out, and we rotated out the right way, and they took a bad shot that was contested. But twice doing it right and 12, 13 times doing it wrong, it don't add up. It add up. Well, if I take it back, it add up to a butt kicking. That's what happened to me and everybody else last night.
Not asking you to make excuses, but what do you attribute that to? Is it like a emotional fatigue or mental fatigue or something?
So I'm not going. There is something behind it, but I'm not going to answer that.
Okay.
Because we got a behind kicking. I'm just going to leave it at that. We got to do better. But that's a good question, though. So I don't mean to not answer, but I'm not going to. Because I don't want nothing out there except for we know we should have done better and we didn't.
I think I know what you're saying.
Okay.
Obviously, defense is all 5 guys, but how much is like a good defensive night and just possessions predicated on that 5-man out there?
Every night, it's impossible. I mean, think about it. I don't know if there's anybody that can guard Fox one-on-one, let alone Malik, Dome. I mean, you just go down the line. It's impossible to guard anybody one-on-one in this business, and so you have to. I always preach it's 5 guys guarding the basketball, meaning that whenever the ball moves, like if I'm on, say, the left side of the floor, and I take a dribble towards the baseline, well, if you're on the weak side of the floor, you got to take a step down the floor, and if you're the bottom guy, you got to take a step over. You know what I'm saying? Because if you wait until I start to go hard to the rim, or the big starts to dive to the rim, it's too late. Because you're going to get there as he's coming, and it's going to be a block. So when the ball moves, no matter where the ball is, all 5 guys got to move. Because there's 5 guys guarding the basketball. And if you don't have those 5 guys on a string, you're not going to get good results. You're going to be picking up fouls. You're going to get dunked on. You're going to be out of rebounding position. All those things will come to play because one guy is a step behind.
You had talked earlier in the year about figuring out rotations and getting to know the roster. Where are you at with that process now, particularly given that more guys can be traded around the league with that December, I think, 15th deadline and with the trade deadline getting a little bit closer?
I'm not. I love our team. I'm not worried about. I'm not even thinking about trades or anything like that. But you always do want to try to find, 9, 10, 11 guys in a nice rotation. Having said that, every once in a while, it's good to throw somebody that might be your 11th man into the game in front of your 9th man, because you want everybody to be engaged. That was something that as a young coach, I never did before. But that was one of many things I learned from being with Steve, is it keeps your whole roster engaged when every once in a while you just call a guy's number, you throw him out there because they're like, oh, okay, and then even the guy that he replaces, sometimes that guy's like, why is he taking my spot? I got to pick it up, and so to give guys that opportunity every once in a while is good, but to get to have something that's pretty consistent also can be good because it gives guys a better feel of when they're coming in, when they're going out, so it helps them prepare a little bit better mentally. And I think, obviously, we know who we're going to start. Davion's going to play. Malik's going to play. I'm probably missing somebody. And then from there, it's a toss-up between, TD, Trey, KZ, and then the backup 5. You know what I'm saying? So nobody has really held on to a spot when it comes to the rest of those guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.